What's up, guys? Cars Ignite here, and welcome to the start of something very different on my channel. I am honestly really excited to do this. So today, we are I'm gonna be starting posting videos where I am reading through a old story I wrote. This story is known as Angry Birds, A Hero's Tale. Which, since this is chapter 1's video, I thought I'd give a bit of background regarding this story. So, of course, a few days ago, about a week ago, I mentioned on my community tab that I would be posting chapters all over the place, to my YouTube channel, as on posts and videos like this, and then on my Instagram. So this is a story that I wrote back in, I believe, back at the very beginning of 2020. Months before Hero's Quest even began. Started this right at the beginning of the year, and I ended it right I believe, a few months before Hero's Quest began. I need to check right. I'm gonna check right now, real quick. Check the version history. Yeah. I literally started this in January of 2020. Right at the start of the year, I think. I'm right now looking. Oh my gosh. Pretty much, yep. And then, I started writing this at the very start of the year, and then, I finished writing the story, like, the first full draft, right near the end of February of near the middle of February, before I made revisions and edited this story to make it flow a lot better. Even though when I released the story on Amino, it wasn't in the draft it's currently at, with all the grammar mistakes fixed. But which I am happy I fixed all these mistakes. So yeah, I might as well mention that, of course, this story, before I wrote this even, this was something I started coming up with when I was creating Hero in the first place. I mean, it wasn't like right away. It was around the time I created Vera, when back 2014, I created both Hero and Vera in 2014, and well, this story started to come together during then. Originally we had Smooth Cheeks, but then when I decided to adapt this into a full written story, I decided to change the king to Leonard, making it be in a universe similar to Reloaded. Although, keep in mind, this was written long before the Reloaded verse was a thing, even. Which is kind of crazy. Sorry if I'm talking too long here, but I really think it'd be a nice thing to do to give you guys all, like, background before I start reading these chapters. Without further ado, continuing on with my background of writing this story, like I said, it was written, this story started, this story, like, when I decided to write it as an actual story, I decided to have Leonard be the king in this, and it kind of, this story really changed everything, because this story was really what helped set everything for Hero's Quest, which I created which I started Hero's Quest 3 months after I finished writing this story. It's crazy to think that's literally in a way, this was a setup for Hero's Quest. Like, I didn't think anything of it. Like, when I wrote this, I was like, this is just gonna be a one-off story. But then I was like, in May of 2020, a few months after I wrote this, I got the idea to start Hero's Quest, and it really helped, and it really honestly helped me plan out everything. However, this whole story wouldn't be adapted until the second season. The first 7 episodes of season 2 were of course Hiro's backstory, which basically adapted this. Which might as well mention that later it starts out the same, pretty much like how it is in Hero's Quest, but there is a bit of a difference where we actually get to see a bit more of a difference here, where we get to see kind of perspective change. In Hero's Quest, you mainly are following Hero's story and Hero's side of things, but you never get to see what's going on other sides of it, in the other characters' perspectives before they end up like crossing paths with Hiro. You never get to see the Angry Birds. You never get to see what the others are doing, what their pigs are doing. But here I actually do have that in here. So yeah, without further ado, and also I just want to mention this. Keep in mind that this was my first time writing a whole story like this with chapters. Like, well, first or second, and well, a lot of the chapters in this story are pretty short compared to, like, they start out short, but then we have quite some longer chapters in the second half of this story. But yeah, I think that's all the background I really want to give off about this whole thing. So without further ado, time for what you came here for. It's time to begin the story with Chapter 1, Captured. It was another day on Piggy Island. The sun was shining, and it was peaceful in the Square Forest. In the Square Forest, a little purple bird was exploring. He was curious about the forest. He kept exploring for a few hours until he was captured. The pigs captured the purple bird, put him in a cage, and brought him to the airship. "Our king will be happy with us capturing this little purple birdie," said Gregory. "Yeah, he might give us a break from work," exclaimed Samson. Just as the 2 minion pigs were having a conversation, Corporal Pig came to the 2 pigs. "Men, what do we have here?" asked the corporal. "A little birdie," the pigs exclaimed. "Good work, men. Just load him onto the ship, and we'll bring him back to the castle," ordered the corporal. "Yes, sir!" exclaimed the pigs as they loaded the birdie on the airship and flew back to the castle with the purple bird all in tears. And well, guys, that wraps up chapter 1. So, I hope you guys are enjoying this already. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. So, please like, comment, and subscribe. And well, guys, stay tuned as soon I will be releasing chapter 2. And I will be dropping this chapters of the story over the course of maybe the next few weeks until finally the story's concluded. So yeah, guys, I hope you're excited for this. Alright, guys. Bye!